Hello everyone, welcome back to another problem tutorial from our Chapter 5 problem tutorial series for financial management, BUS 223. In this video we're going to be looking at problem number 5. So let's read it. It says you deposit $1,000 in your bank account. A, if the bank pays 4% simple interest, how much will you accumulate in your account after 10 years? Okay. Now, remember the distinction between a simple interest and a compound interest. For a compound interest, you deposit your money, you generate interest in the first financial period, let's say 1 year, and then for the following financial period, the interest is applied to your principal and your interest from the previous period. However, with simple interest, you only generate interest on your principal. That's it. So there's no interest on interest, right? So that means that for a $1,000 deposit, generating 4% a year, it will generate $40 per year. And if we multiply that by the number of years, that will be 40 multiplied by 10, that's 400. Okay, so let's put it in a simple formula. Part A, we could say that the future value is going to be the present value, which is the principal here, the 1,000, okay, plus the present value itself multiplied by the interest rate multiplied by the number of years. Okay, so we could find our answer this way. So that will mean $1,000 plus 1,000 multiplied by 0.04 multiplied by 10. Okay, and that will be $1,000 plus, as we said, 4% out of 1,000, that's 40. Multiply that by 10, that will be 400. So I'm not going to use a calculator here. It's a simple calculation. And the future value based on the given scenario is going to be $1,400, meaning that if you invest $1,000 in this particular bank account that generates 4% in a simple interest, your investment or your deposit is going to grow to 1,400 within 10 years. Okay. Now let's look at the second requirement, B. It says, how much will you accumulate if the bank pays compound interest? So now we'll take the same inputs, right? But the only thing that will change is that this time we're going to assume that the interest is a compound interest, right? So that means we're going to go back to our original formula. Future value, equals the present value multiplied by 1 plus r to the power t. Okay, substituting with the inputs we have, $1,000 multiplied by 1 plus 0.04 all to the power of 10. Now let's use our calculators. 1,000 multiplied by, open a bracket, 1 plus 0.04, close the bracket, raise that to the power of 10. And that would be 1,480.24 cents. So if we change the scenario and we assume that the bank pays a compound interest, our 1,000 initial investment or initial deposit is going to grow to $1,480.24 in 10 years. Okay. Now notice the difference here. Notice how with a simple interest, the the total interest generated throughout the 10 years is $400, whereas with the compound interest scenario, the total interest that was generated over the 10-year period is $480.24. Okay, now this scenario or this question might not really showcase the strength of a compound interest, but if we have, or if we assume a higher interest rate or a longer period, the higher the interest rate and the longer the period, the bigger the gap is going to be between the two scenarios, the simple interest and the compound interest. Okay, so I would encourage you to do this, redo the exercise, but maybe change the interest rate to something like 10%, and maybe play around, change the number of years to, let's say, 20 years or so. Whatever, just increase those numbers and see the more you increase one of these variables, the bigger the gap is going to be between the simple interest and the compound interest scenarios. Okay, and that's the power of compound interest that we discussed in class, where you have multiple components, and the more you're able to increase at least one of those components, you're gonna reap more benefits from compounding your investments over a let's say a longer duration, or with a higher rate of return, or so on, or even starting with a bigger initial investment. Okay, that's it for this exercise. It's a very simple, straightforward exercise, problem number 5. I hope that you found this video useful, and if you have any questions, as always, please drop them down in the comments. And until I see you in the next problem tutorial, keep on learning, and I wish you the best of luck.